I expect an immediate impact. I mean, that's why he's here. I mean, I know you guys all know the story about the first coordinator that we were able to hire, Jeff Banks, who was here for just a short period of time. You know, ended up leaving and going to Texas A&M. You know, Larry was one of the guys that taught Jeff his schemes and systems. And I think you'll see a different style, an approach to an aggressive style of special teams play, a style that you know, very fast, very you know, guys deployed differently, and you know, a little unconventional as far as formations and alignments. But those things that you can do from a special team standpoint to cause the other team to hurry up and get lined up and try to defense what you're doing, it always gives you a little bit of, you know, an advantage. But it does all boil down to blocking, kicking, and running downfield and tackling. So those are always the key elements that we'll continue to work on. But scheme-wise, I think it'll be different than what it's been.
What about the freedom to use starters on the special teams? Hadn't always been done around here.
No, it hadn't, Doug. But you know, again, you know, with the philosophy of scholarship being, you know, kickers. It had been done always around here. You know, sometimes you take a walk on and you let them develop and progress, and then you put them on scholarship. I was here when Connor Hughes was a walk on, and eventually became a starter. But to your question about, you know, anyone that's on the team being able to play in a special teams role, Larry knows that he has carte blanche to put outside of the quarterbacks now. You know, to
Eli Harold, for instance.
Eli could be running down on the kickoff, or he could be a wing on the kickoff return. You know, something like that, where you can use some skill and ability there. Particularly since it's a one-play, you know, it's a one-play event, and we want to try to personnel that, you know, in the right way.
Mike, do you know any more on Capital?
You know, I know that you know, we'll find out here soon in camp as far as what a guy can and can't do. But you know, it looks like, you know, because of the hip injury, and then just you know, I know he wants to be a trooper and wants to play and wants to get out there. You talk about a guy that had 2 shoulder surgeries, has this hip issue now, and you know, I'm thinking about life after football for him. And so, you know, he may not be a guy that'll be in the mix for us, just thinking for his well-being instead of, I don't want the kid to just kind of suck it up and then, you know, to get out there and play. But I think as we go into this thing, we've been getting closer and closer to defining depth charts and where guys are going to be, that it's not responding the way we had hoped it would respond, and it looks doubtful that at least at the beginning of August camp, you know, that he'll be out there.
So he won't practice next week?
You know, probably not. You know, like I said, this injury that he has, I don't know the specifics of it, but you know, eventually it would require surgery. And you know, he's an offensive lineman, so he's kick stepping and he's drive blocking and he's pulling, he's out on the edge. And so you know, those things sometimes when you're moving and you're that big, you know, limit you to a great degree about what you can do as far as being effective. And if you can't be effective, then obviously, you know, we don't want to put him in that situation.
Mike, what was Watford's reaction to the decision to redshirt him last year, and in the years since? What, you know, can you kind of fill us in on what he's been up to and how he's progressed?
Yeah, and that's a great question. You know, I know everyone comes in and they want to be an instant starter. They want to be a contributor. You know, when they come in, and the reality, we talked about it before, you know, when we first got here, you know, Mark Verica was the only quarterback on the roster that had any playing experience. And so therein lie, you know, David and Michael Rocco playing to provide some playing depth. And then with the transfer of Philip Sims and Michael having taken a significant amount of reps as well, we thought it was in David's best interest to redshirt. And, you know, at first he was disappointed, but like any great team leader or any player that's a selfless player, you know, said, you know what, if this was best for the team, then Coach, I'll do it. So over the course of the time, you know, he's seen you know, the past season unfold, and you know, he's always been a guy that studied the game. You know, he played his freshman year, so when he's watched the games, there's a reference point that he can, you know, he can use as a learning tool as far as what he needs to know and get better as a quarterback. And when you watch David now, even now, you'll get a chance to speak to him. Just listen to the way he talks. Listen to his look at his demeanor, very calm, very cool, collective. He's gained a vast amount of knowledge from having played and having sat. And he's become a better leader because of it. And a lot of times through adversity, you learn what type of people or players that you are. And I think that, you know, David not playing, being a role player, you know, signaling the signals in, and then evolving as being one of our top leaders. I told someone in the ACCs in Greensboro that we had the Navy SEALs come in, and they did spend some time with our program, and they didn't know anybody. But very soon after they were there, they recognized there were certain guys that were leaders that stood out on this team, and David was one of them. When we voted for leadership council, you know, we have captains, but we voted for leadership council. I got votes from everybody on the team. The top vote getter was David Watford. So I think that guys have seen him go through the things that he's gone through, and there's appreciation for how he's developed, how he's matured, and how he's handled this whole quarterback situation. And to his credit, you know, and Grayson Lambert, you know, great young men.
You said you would name a starter early, or name number one. Is he ready to do that now, or?
We haven't even practiced yet. I mean,
Well, I didn't know how early was early.
you know, early could be early, you know, but we want to be able to just, you know, get him in. Our first practice is Monday, and, you know, I have to give, you know, Grayson an opportunity to show how much of a development he's had as well over the summer. So, you know, Matt Johns, we all know, you know, couldn't participate because he was ill during, you know, during spring practice, and then you have Brandon Marshall that's here right now. So it'll be early, and there won't be any issues with, you know, who will be the guy, because we'll give him plenty of reps to get ready for the season.
Mike, how far along do you think you are in building what you want to build here, and how much did the coaching changes and stuff from last year, is that maybe kind of a reset button?
You know, Hank, I think that you want to build a program, and there's a process that's involved with it. You know, you have your schemes and your systems, and you're moving forward, and it's true. We have 3 new coordinators, you know, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. You know, we had 15 spring practices with these new systems. And so, is there a learning curve? Absolutely. I mean, are there things that Steve, Larry, and John, you know, want the guys to know right off the bat? Absolutely. But that comes with playing. That comes with, you know, getting in games and practicing a certain amount of time. So I think there is a little bit of an adjustment with that. But the attitude of the players is one of eagerness, one of, you know, ready to play, wanting to play. You look at the schedule, challenging, but one that with 8 home games, excited about. You know, so I think all those things kind of, you know, put into the mix. You look at something that you see there could be some success, and you know, with the way we play, with the systems and how we play, is going to be important, definitely for sure, particularly early on.